Hello everybody, Rybread here, and today I will be giving my first impressions, kind of like more so a review, I'd say, of the Alloy Collective DLC for Risk of Rain 2. For reference, we are about a week out, so we have had about a week to sink our teeth into this content. And I'm making this video mainly for people that have been hesitant about buying after, obviously, we had a very rough launch with Seekers of the Storm. A lot of people lost faith in Gearbox. So this video is mainly for you if you're still on the fence on this DLC. But let's get into what I think about this content. First off, I want to say that Gearbox did an amazing job with the stability of this launch. If there are bugs, I can't find them, or I'm not noticing them. Straight up, this has released in a flawless state pretty much. There is no problems, no game-breaking bugs, no nothing. It plays smooth. The content, I would say it doesn't really intrude too much on the Risk of Rain formula. Like, in previous DLCs, we've had stuff that have like shaken it up quite a bit. Like, obviously there's like Survivors of the Void, added Void items. That was a huge change to the formula on how we play Risk of Rain. Obviously with Void items, that changes up quite a bit. Seekers of the Storm wasn't all that intrusive, and kind of same with this. It plays it safe, but it's more Risk of Rain, which is a game that is amazing on its own. So it is really awesome that we just pretty much get more. While this is a good DLC launch, there are definitely some weaker points to it. I will start off by talking about its strengths, and I would say probably the strongest part of this DLC is the new survivors introduced, Operator and Drifter. Holy crap, both of these are so much fun to play. I really enjoy how much they changed the dynamic. So many characters in this game. Obviously, everybody has their own unique kits and they all play a little differently, but for the most part, it is a kit that will deal damage or heal that character, and it's just different versions of dealing damage and doing that. While Operator and Drifter aren't necessarily too different in that regard, they take different parts of the game and synergize with it a lot more. Operator takes advantage of drones, and his kit is really built around and made more powerful by all the drones you can buy. And Drifter takes advantage of the new temporary items, so you can give yourselves little power boosts just by doing combat, giving yourself items temporarily. Obviously, they're both very powerful. I can definitely feel the power creep kind of making its way into this game. I think Gearbox has kind of adjusted appropriately, mainly through the new enemy types that have the ability to disable your kit temporarily or take items away from you. They got kind of crafty with how they disrupt your game flow with these new enemies, which is also a pretty cool part of the DLC. But yeah, to the characters, I really like how unique they play. I think it's really cool how unique they are. Really the only other character that interacts or I guess there's two characters that kind of interact in a similar way or like differently versus just dealing damage, and that would be Void Fiend. Obviously, the more Void items you have, the easier it is to be corrupted. And then False Sun, the more health you have, the more stacks of your abilities. It's just really cool interactions like that they build into a player's kit that make it fun and a unique experience to play. Obviously, yeah, Operator has the drone synergy, and Drifter has the temporary items, but also scrap. The more scrap you hold, the more stat boosts you get. That's also a really cool addition that they made. And it sometimes, in certain cases, makes me think about parting ways with scrap when I'm playing as Drifter. It's like, yeah, obviously an item is an item, but would I rather keep the speed boost from my pile of white scrap versus turning it in for like a tougher times or something like that? It's a new way to play that makes you think a little differently, and I really do appreciate that considering how much I play this game. Moving on to what I would think is another very strong aspect of this DLC, and that is the boss fights. Oh my god, they nailed it with these. I'd say the new main boss fight, being the Soulless Wing, is a different type of boss fight that we've never really seen in Risk of Rain before. I would liken the other boss fights in this game, such as Mithrix, False Sun, and to a lesser extent, Voidling kind of being like a Souls-like experience. It's just you in an arena with a move set that you have to memorize. And when I say Souls-like, I do use that term very lightly. It's more so just kind of drawing a parallel to it, just the type of arena you're in and how the fight progresses. Souls-likes are obviously a very different thing, but I'm just kind of drawing a very loose parallel there. Whereas the Soulless Wing fight, I feel is almost more like a raid boss encounter. Again, using the term raid-like very lightly in this, more so that it has some mechanics. The arena that you're in is a bit more dynamic, and you have to interact with certain things in the arena for the fight to make sure you can survive. It's a different flavor. It's a game that I love, and they've always have nailed it in terms of the boss fights for me, except for False Sun. I'm still not crazy about that boss fight. But the Soulless Wing just feels like an entirely different kind of dynamic, a different type of fight, which I really do appreciate. It's kind of it's really a fun thing to add to your run if you're bossing. I'm not going to go super in depth with it because obviously there's some people that either you haven't bought this DLC yet or you haven't done this fight yet, so I do not want to spoil it for you. I'll have some footage going on in the back of this fight, but I don't want to go really too in depth with it. All I can say is I really like the fight. I think it's something new for this game and pretty unique. Outside of that, they also added I guess the pre-boss in the stage before you get the Soulless Wing, and that is the Alloy Hunter, which is also a really cool new boss. I kind of wish we could see it in other places as well. I get it's kind of just that unique thing on your path to the next boss. It's a cool fight. It's kind of a cool arena, a cool stage you gotta progress through to get to it. It's nothing all that special. It's very much a teleport boss fight, so it's not all that flashy, but it is kind of a cool change of pace considering that it gives you a larger space to fight in. Yeah, I think it's also a really cool fight. And then they added another boss fight on the tail end of all of this that I probably won't show too much of, but it's called the Soulless Heart, and that's also another really cool boss fight. A bit more intense. You're in a much smaller arena. It's a bit more classic Risk of Rain boss fight, but I won't go too much in depth. I don't want to spoil too much for the people that haven't gotten to play this yet. Needless to say, I think all these boss fights that they added are a lot of fun, and this is a really good addition to the game. And then the other part that I think is fairly strong in this DLC is the items. And now the items, I would say, are kind of in the line of, yeah, they're items. They're obviously more items. None of them are all that flashy. For me, a couple standout items are the Faraday Spurs and the Networked Suffering Legendary. But other than that, like there's other good items, but none of them are like super standout. I do like that they add more items that synergize with drones. To me, that's pretty dang cool. And then there's also an entire other tier of item now that can be made through crafting, and that's the other really cool thing. After you complete the Soulless Wing boss fight, you go to this kind of in-between stage that allows you to craft items, which is also a really cool addition. There's some that it's kind of like a hidden tier of item along with it. So yeah, they did a really good job with the items here. I think a lot of them just kind of fill a role, but there are a few standouts that are a lot of fun. I will be making a tier list eventually here within the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. I'll go a bit more in depth on those items, but yeah, I do feel like the items were done pretty well here. And then the other major addition to this expansion were all the new drone types, which this was something I was a little skeptical on because when we talk about power creep, drones seem like probably one of the biggest ways you can power creep this game. Even with what we had before this DLC came out, if you bought enough drones of any type, you could pretty much just roll your way into victory. It wasn't a hard thing to do if you had just a huge army behind you doing all this damage. All the new drone additions I think are really cool. Some of them more useful than others. Obviously, some survivors such as Operator that take direct advantage of these drones also make them very powerful tools to have. But yeah, all the new drone types, whether they're be the ones that grab them and throw them down, the ones that give you temporary items, the upgrades that they made to stuff like the prototype, also really cool. I think all in all, they did a pretty dang good job with adding stuff here. I would say like not a single drone that they added is like a super overpowered thing, but obviously the more types of drones doing different types of things on the stage make for a very powerful combination. Good addition, a little bit power creeped, but it's honestly completely fine. I've been primarily playing the new survivors since this DLC. In fact, I've only been playing the new survivors since this DLC came out. So, I mean, I've been playing a lot of operators, so I think they might be a little overpowered now, but I don't know how those drones will play if I'm playing as commando or someone. For all I know, it's completely balanced and fine, and because I've been playing so much operator, it's very easy to think that they're overpowered because I'm constantly using them in my build. So my opinion on that might change a little bit, but at least to me right now, it does seem like they might be providing a little bit too much power. But it's a cool addition nonetheless. The next thing I want to talk about is the new stages introduced, and they're fine. All of them are very vertical, which is cool. We don't have too many vertical, I would consider vertical maps in this game. Normally for most survivors, I would say verticality in stages are a little frustrating. Just because if you're not getting stuff like Hopo Feathers or like a bunch of movement speed, or you don't have any equipment like Eccentric Vase or Milky Chrysalis or Volcanic Egg, it can be a little annoying to move around a map, which is totally understandable. A lot of these are definitely banking on the fact that you're playing as someone like Operator or Artificer that can kind of jump in between, or by the time you get to those stages you have a Hopo or two. There are still ways to move around for the more grounded characters. It is definitely a different feel compared to other maps we've gotten in the past where they're a lot more flat. These, you definitely gotta kind of know your way around. There's a lot more nooks in these. There's, again, a lot more verticality. Luckily, they provide plenty of jump pads to get around these maps, so you're not completely doomed if you don't have items to help you get around. I would say out of all the things in this DLC, that is probably the weakest part of it, the stages. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for my thoughts on the Alloy Collective 1 week in here. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Again, I do recommend this DLC. It is in working order. There are no bugs that I can see, which is pretty freaking awesome. It's good to have a stable launch. And that's for any game. That's not just Risk of Rain. Any game that comes out this rock solid when it comes to stability is awesome. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this content. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel. We will again be making item tier list pretty soon here for this DLC, as well as posting more runs. I got some boss kill runs coming up pretty soon. We also live stream here on the channel. I will be doing my Eclipse runs with the new survivors probably starting next week, so stay tuned for that if you want to join me on that journey. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, I invite you to drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. We are growing pretty quickly here, and it's pretty awesome, so thank you for your support. But yeah, until next time, have a wonderful day.